Commander Zera of the Galactic Alliance stood tall, her imposing figure casting a shadow over the newly discovered human outpost. This was a pivotal moment, the first official contact between the advanced alien civilization and the primitive, yet intriguing, human race. Zera took a deep breath, her tentacles twitching with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. She had been chosen for this delicate mission due to her reputation for unwavering resolve and tactical brilliance. Failure was not an option. With a nod to her second-in-command, Zera gave the order to release the Beast, a fearsome creature engineered for the sole purpose of striking terror into the hearts of any who dared challenge the might of the Galactic Alliance. As the massive containment unit opened, a low rumble echoed across the desolate landscape. The humans, gathered nervously behind a hastily erected barricade, watched with wide eyes as the creature emerged. Its hulking frame was adorned with jagged scales, and its maw dripped with saliva. Sharp fangs bared in a menacing display. Zera felt a surge of pride as the beast's presence seemed to suffocate the air, casting an ominous shadow over the fragile human outpost. "Behold the power of the Galactic Alliance." Zera's voice boomed, her translator ensuring the humans understood her words. "This beast is but a taste of the forces we can unleash should you choose to resist our offer of friendship and cooperation." The humans, however, did not react with the fear and reverence Zera had expected. Instead of cowering in terror, their expressions morphed into a curious mixture of amusement and bewilderment. Zera's tentacles twitched in confusion as the humans began to murmur excitedly, seemingly unaware of the imminent danger they faced. "Look, it's so cute," one of the humans exclaimed, pointing at the towering beast. "Can we keep it as a pet?" Another human asked, a wide grin spreading across their face. Zera's jaw dropped, her azure skin flushing with a combination of shock and indignation. How could these primitive beings not recognize the sheer power and ferocity of the creature before them? Surely, they must be feigning ignorance in a misguided attempt to appear brave. "Silence," Zera commanded, her voice reverberating with authority. "This beast is the most feared creature in the known universe. Its mere presence should strike fear into your hearts." But the humans remained unfazed, their attention focused solely on the beast, which had now sat down and was wagging its long, segmented tail while letting out a series of low, rumbling sounds. "It's like a big, scaly puppy," one of the humans exclaimed, eliciting laughter and nods of agreement from the others. Zera's tentacles twitched uncontrollably as she struggled to comprehend the situation. This was not how the first contact was supposed to unfold. The humans were supposed to cower in fear, begging for mercy and pledging their allegiance to the Galactic Alliance. Instead, they seemed entirely oblivious to the true nature of the beast. "Enough of this nonsense," Zera growled, her patience wearing thin. "Humanity, you will submit to the might of the Galactic Alliance or face the consequences." But as Zera issued her ultimatum, the humans merely looked at each other and shrugged, their expressions conveying a distinct lack of concern. Zera's mandibles clicked in frustration, realizing that her carefully orchestrated display of power had fallen flat. Somehow she would need to find a way to make the humans recognize the true threat that the beast posed. The future of the Galactic Alliance's plans for this primitive world depended on it. Zera's tentacles twitched with frustration as she watched the humans' baffling reaction to the beast. Instead of cowering in fear, they seemed entirely unimpressed, even going so far as to approach the towering creature with outstretched hands, cooing and offering it strange, brightly colored objects. "Unacceptable," Zera growled, her translator ensuring her words were understood by the gathered humans. "This beast is the most fearsome creature in the known universe, and you dare to treat it as a mere pet." The humans paused, looking up at Zera with expressions of genuine confusion. "But it's so friendly," one of them exclaimed, reaching out to scratch the beast's scaly neck, eliciting a low rumble of contentment from the creature. Zera's mandibles clicked in disbelief. Friendly? How could these humans be so blind to the true nature of the beast? She had to find a way to make them see the gravity of the situation. Clearing her throat, Zara stepped forward, her imposing frame casting a long shadow over the humans. "Hear me, Earthlings," she said, her voice dripping with authority. "This beast is capable of tearing your fragile bodies, limb from limb, with a single swipe of its claws. Its jaws can crush even the mightiest of your structures. You would do well to show it the respect it deserves." But the humans simply blinked, unfazed by Zara's dire warnings. One of them even reached up to pat the beast's snout, earning a contented rumble in response. "It's like a big, friendly lizard," the human said, eliciting nods of agreement from the others. Zara's tentacles twitched uncontrollably, and she fought the urge to let out a frustrated scream. How could these creatures be so oblivious to the danger they were in? Surely there had to be a way to make them understand. Determined to break through their thick skulls, Zara tried a different approach. "Humans, listen closely," she said, her voice softening slightly. "I understand that the beast may appear harmless to you, but I assure you it is capable of unspeakable violence. Its kind has been the downfall of countless civilizations across the galaxy." The humans exchanged puzzled glances, and one of them raised a hand tentatively. "But it's just so cute," the human said, eliciting murmurs of agreement from the others. "Can we keep it as a pet?" Zara's tentacles twitched with frustration, and she had to resist the urge to let out a primal scream. This was not going at all according to plan. She had expected the humans to cower in fear, not to treat the beast as some sort of adorable companion. Determined to make them understand the gravity of the situation, Zara decided to take a more aggressive approach. Raising her hand, she barked a command in her native tongue, and the beast instantly sprang into action, its massive jaws snapping shut just inches from one of the startled humans. The humans scattered, their eyes wide with terror, but to Zara's dismay, their fear quickly gave way to a mixture of awe and excitement. "Wow, did you see that?" one of them exclaimed, his voice trembling slightly. "It's like a big, scary puppy." Zara's mandibles clicked in frustration as she realized that her attempt to intimidate the human. Zara's tentacles twitched with growing frustration as she watched the humans interact with the beast in a way that defied all logic. Despite her best efforts to convey the true nature of the creature, the humans seemed entirely oblivious to the danger it posed, instead treating it as some kind of harmless, albeit impressive, pet. "Unbelievable," Zara muttered under her breath, her mandibles clicking in disbelief. How can these primitive beings not recognize the sheer power and ferocity of the beast? Determined to make the humans understand, Zara decided to take a more educational approach. Clearing her throat, she stepped forward, her imposing frame casting a long shadow over the gathered humans. "Earthlings," she began, her voice laced with a mixture of authority and patience, "I understand that the beast may appear harmless to you, but I assure you, it is a creature of unimaginable power and destruction. Its kind has been the downfall of countless civilizations across the galaxy." The humans listened intently, their eyes wide with curiosity. Encouraged by their apparent interest, Zara continued, her tentacles gesturing animatedly as she described the beast's abilities in vivid detail. "This creature's jaws can crush even the mightiest of your structures," she said, her voice rising with emphasis. "Its claws can rend flesh and bone with a single swipe. It is driven by an insatiable hunger and a relentless desire to dominate its prey." As Zara spoke, the humans exchanged glances, their brows furrowed in what appeared to be deep contemplation. For a moment, Zara allowed herself to feel a glimmer of hope, believing that she had finally managed to break through their thick skulls. However, her optimism was short-lived, as one of the humans raised a tentative hand. "But it's still so cute," the human said, eliciting nods of agreement from the others. "And it seems so friendly. Are you sure it's as dangerous as you say?" Zara's tentacles twitched uncontrollably, and she had to resist the urge to let out a frustrated scream. How could these beings be so blind to the true nature of the beast? Didn't they understand the gravity of the situation? Determined to make them see reason, Zyra decided to take a more forceful approach. Raising her hand, she barked another command in her native tongue, and the beast instantly sprang into action, its massive jaws snapping shut just inches from one of the startled humans. The humans scattered, their eyes wide with terror, and for a brief moment, Zyra felt a surge of satisfaction. Finally, they were beginning to understand the true threat they were facing. But once again, her triumph was short-lived, as the humans' fear quickly gave way to a mixture of awe and excitement. "Wow, did you see that?" one of them exclaimed, his voice trembling slightly. "It's like a big, scary puppy." Zyra's mandibles clicked in frustration as she realized that her attempt to intimidate the humans had once again backfired. Instead of recognizing the true danger posed by the beast, they seemed to view it as some sort of impressive, yet ultimately harmless creature. Gritting her teeth, Zyra knew that she would need to find a new approach. Clearly, the human's perception of the beast was fundamentally different from her own, and she would need to understand the underlying reasons for this disconnect if she wanted to make any progress in her diplomatic mission. With a deep sigh, Zyra turned to her second-in-command, her tentacles twitching with a mixture of frustration and determination. "Gather a team of our best researchers," she said, her voice stern. "I need to know everything there is to know about these humans and their bizarre perspectives. Only then can we hope to bridge this cultural divide." Zyra's frustration with the humans' baffling perception of the beast had reached a boiling point. Despite her best efforts to educate them on the true nature of the creature, the humans remained steadfastly convinced that it was nothing more than a big, friendly puppy. Determined to make them recognize the danger, Zyra decided to take a more aggressive approach. Summoning her top strategists, she began devising a series of increasingly bold maneuvers, each one designed to force the humans to confront the reality of the beast's power. First, Zyra ordered the beast to unleash a devastating display of its destructive capabilities, leveling a small uninhabited structure on the outskirts of the human settlement. As the structure crumbled under the onslaught, the humans watched with a mix of awe and trepidation. "See," Zyra declared, her voice triumphant. "This beast is capable of reducing your entire civilization to rubble. You would do well to show it the respect it deserves." But to Zyra's dismay, the human's reaction was far from the one she had anticipated. Instead of cowering in fear, they began to murmur excitedly, their eyes shining with a newfound fascination. "Wow, did you see that?" one of them exclaimed. "It's like a giant, scaly demolition machine." Another human chimed in, a grin spreading across their face. "I bet we could train it to help us with construction projects. Imagine how much time and effort it could save us." Zyra's tentacles twitched uncontrollably, and she had to resist the urge to let out a primal scream. How could these beings be so blind to the true threat before them? Undeterred, Zyra decided to escalate the situation further. Ordering her troops to surround the human settlement, she delivered an ultimatum. "Earthlings, you have one final chance to submit to the might of the Galactic Alliance," she boomed, her voice resonating with authority. "If you refuse, we will have no choice but to unleash the full power of the beast upon your civilization." The humans, however, remained unfazed, their expressions reflecting a puzzling mix of amusement and defiance. "You know, we've been thinking about this a lot," one of them said, stepping forward. "And we've decided that we don't want to submit to your Galactic Alliance, or whatever. We kind of like this beast you've got, and we'd rather keep it as a pet." Zyra's mandibles clicked in disbelief, and she could feel her grip on the situation slipping through her tentacles. "Pet," she snarled, her voice laced with a palpable rage. "This beast is not some plaything for your amusement. It is a weapon of unparalleled destruction, and you will submit to its power or be crushed beneath it." But the humans, instead of cowering in fear, simply shrugged their shoulders. "Well, if you're going to be like that, then we don't have a choice," one of them said, a hint of regret in their voice. We're not going to let you hurt our new friend. Zira's eyes narrowed, her frustration boiling over into a cold, calculating fury. She had tried reasoning with the humans, she had tried intimidation, and now it was time for her to take drastic measures. So be it, she hissed, her tentacles twitching with anticipation. You leave me no choice but to demonstrate the true power of the beast once and for all. With a flick of her wrist, Zira gave the order, and the beast surged forward, its massive jaws gaping wide as it charged towards the human settlement. The beast charged forward, its massive frame shaking the ground with each thunderous step. Zira watched with a grim determination, her tentacles twitching with anticipation as the creature closed in on the human settlement. This is it, she muttered under her breath, her mandibles clicking with a mixture of triumph and trepidation. Now the fools will learn the true power of the beast. As the beast neared the barricades erected by the humans, Zira expected to see pure terror in their eyes. But to her utter astonishment, the humans remained unfazed, their expressions reflecting a peculiar blend of fascination and excitement. "Look, it's coming," one of them exclaimed, pointing at the charging creature. Another human grinned and called out, "Come on, big guy, you can do it." Zira's tentacles twitched uncontrollably, and she felt a surge of rage building within her. How could these beings be so blind to the impending doom that threatened to engulf them? Determined to break through their delusion, Zira stepped forward, her booming voice cutting through the air. "Earthlings, open your eyes and behold the true nature of the beast," she declared, her words laced with a sense of urgency. "This creature is a harbinger of destruction, capable of tearing your fragile bodies limb from limb." As if on cue, the beast let out a deafening roar, its jaws snapping shut with a sickening crunch, shattering the nearby structures. Zira felt a surge of triumph, certain that the humans would finally recognize the gravity of the situation. But once again, their reaction defied all logic. Instead of cowering in terror, the humans let out a collective gasp of awe, their eyes shining with a strange admiration. "Did you see that?" one of them exclaimed, turning to their companions with a grin. "It's like a giant, scaly lion." Another human chimed in, their voice brimming with excitement. "I bet we could train it to help us with all sorts of tasks around the settlement." Imagine the possibilities. Zira's mandibles clicked in disbelief, and she felt a wave of despair wash over her. No matter what she did, the humans simply refused to see the beast for the terrifying creature it truly was. Their perception of the creature remained stubbornly fixed, as if they were immune to the overwhelming evidence of its destructive power. Zira's tentacles twitched with a mixture of frustration and resignation. She had run out of options. The humans were simply too entrenched in their own reality to be swayed by mere displays of force or threats. With a heavy sigh, Zira realized that she would need to take a radically different approach if she wanted to make any progress. Turning to her second-in-command, she spoke in a low, decisive tone. "Gather our best researchers and psychologists," she said, her voice tinged with a hint of uncertainty. "I need to understand the nature of human perception and psychology better if I am to have any hope of bridging this cultural divide." As the beast continued to wreak havoc around the human settlement, the humans watched with a mixture of awe and delight, completely oblivious to the true threat they faced. Zira knew that she had to find a way to make them see the truth, no matter how elusive it might be. As the beast continued its relentless assault on the human settlement, Zira watched with a mixture of frustration and growing curiosity. Despite her best efforts to make the humans recognize the true nature of the creature, they remained steadfastly convinced that it was nothing more than a harmless, if impressive, companion. Zira's tentacles twitched with a sense of unease. She had always prided herself on her ability to understand and manipulate the mindsets of other sentient beings, but this situation had completely confounded her. How could these humans be so oblivious to the danger that loomed before them? Determined to find a solution, Zira turned to her team of researchers and psychologists, who had been tasked with studying the humans in depth. I need to understand, Zyra said, her voice laced with a rare hint of vulnerability. Why do these humans perceive the beast so differently than we do? The researchers exchanged nervous glances, their own confusion evident in their expressions. It's a complex issue, Commander, one of them began, his tentacles twitching with uncertainty. Our analysis suggests that the human's perception of the beast is deeply rooted in their cultural and psychological biases. Zira leaned forward, her attention rapt. Explain. The researcher cleared his throat, his voice gaining confidence as he delved into the topic. You see, the humans have a strong evolutionary and cultural attachment to certain types of animal companions, which they refer to as pets, he said. These creatures are often perceived as harmless, even cute, regardless of their actual capabilities. Zira's mandibles clicked in confusion. But how can they not see the true power of the beast? Surely, their senses are not so dull that they cannot recognize the danger. Another researcher stepped forward, her tentacles gesturing emphatically. That's just it, Commander, she said. The human's perception is not a matter of dulled senses, but rather a deeply ingrained cognitive bias. Their minds are wired to interpret certain physical attributes, behaviors, and interactions in a specific way, regardless of the actual threat level. Zira's brow furrowed as she tried to wrap her head around this new information. So, you're telling me that these humans are simply incapable of seeing the beast for what it truly is? The researchers exchanged uncertain glances, and Zira could sense their reluctance to deliver the full implications of their findings. Not exactly, the first researcher said, his voice tentative. Our studies suggest that while the human's initial perception of the beast is deeply rooted in their cultural biases, it is not an immutable condition. With the right approach and a deeper understanding of human psychology, it may be possible to shift their perspective. Zira's tentacles twitched with renewed hope. Then tell me, what is this right approach? I must find a way to make the humans see reason before it is too late. The researchers glanced at each other, their expressions reflecting a mixture of caution and determination. It will not be easy, Commander, the second researcher said, her voice grave. Challenging deeply ingrained cognitive biases requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to truly understand the human's worldview. We cannot simply force them to see things our way. Zira nodded slowly, her mandibles clicking in contemplation. She had always prided herself on her unwavering resolve and tactical brilliance, but this situation had required a more nuanced approach. With a deep breath, she made a decision. Then so be it, she said, her voice resolute. I will do what is necessary to bridge this cultural divide, even if it means setting aside my own preconceptions and biases. The future of our alliance with the humans depends on it. As the beast continued to wreak havoc, Zyra turned to her team, her tentacles twitching with determination. Time is of the essence. Begin your work immediately. I must understand the human's perspective if I am to find a solution to this crisis. As the beast continued to wreak havoc, Zyra found herself in deep contemplation, her tentacles twitching with a mixture of frustration and growing understanding. The insights gleaned from her team of researchers had forced her to confront the limitations of her own perspective and the need for a more nuanced approach to the situation. Zyra knew that she could not simply force the humans to recognize the beast as the terrifying creature she knew it to be. Their perception was deeply rooted in their cultural biases and cognitive tendencies, and any attempt to override that would only lead to further conflict and resistance. With a deep breath, Zyra made a decision. She would need to find a way to bridge the divide between the two civilizations, to find a compromise that would allow them to coexist peacefully. It would not be an easy task, but the future of the Galactic Alliance's plans for this primitive world depended on it. Gathering her most trusted advisors, Zyra laid out her proposal. Earthlings, she began, her voice carrying a newfound sense of diplomacy. I understand that my previous attempts to make you recognize the true nature of the beast have been misguided. I now realize that your perception of this creature is deeply rooted in your own cultural and psychological biases. The humans exchanged curious glances, their expressions reflecting a mix of surprise and cautious optimism. "So, what are you proposing?" one of them asked, their tone cautious but open. Zara took a step forward, her tentacles moving with a newfound sense of purpose. "I am willing to consider a compromise," she said, her voice level and measured. "If you agree to treat the beast with the utmost caution and respect, I will ensure that it remains contained and under strict supervision." The humans seemed to ponder this proposal, their brows furrowed in deep thought. "And what if we refuse?" another human asked, their eyes narrowed with suspicion. Zara's mandibles clicked, and she felt a twinge of unease. "Then I will have no choice but to order the beast to be eliminated." The human's eyes widened, and Zara could sense the tension in the air. For a moment, she feared that her offer would be rejected, and the conflict would escalate once more. But to her surprise, one of the humans stepped forward, a tentative smile on their face. "All right, Zara," they said, the alien name rolling off their tongue with surprising ease. "We'll agree to your terms, but we want to be involved in the beast's care and supervision. After all, we've grown quite fond of the big fella." Zara's tentacles twitched, and she felt a pang of unease at the idea of the humans being so closely involved with the beast. But she knew that compromises were necessary if she wanted to find a peaceful resolution to this conflict. "Very well," she said, her voice laced with a hint of resignation. "We will work together to ensure the beast's safety and the security of your settlement." The humans erupted into relieved cheers, their expressions reflecting a newfound sense of camaraderie and optimism. Zara watched them, her mandibles clicking with a mixture of uncertainty and a growing sense of cautious hope. As the beast was safely contained and the humans began to work alongside the Galactic Alliance's representatives, Zara couldn't help but feel a twinge of pride. Perhaps in time, she would be able to understand the humans' perspective better and find a way to forge a true alliance between the two civilizations. As the days turned into weeks, Zara found herself spending more and more time observing the humans and their interactions with the beast. Initially, she had been reluctant to fully embrace the compromise she had reached with the humans, her tentacles twitching with a lingering sense of unease. But to her growing surprise, Zara began to notice something unexpected. The human's relationship with the beast was not merely one of cautious coexistence, but rather a genuine, albeit puzzling, bond. She watched as the humans approached the creature with a mixture of reverence and affection, their voices soft and their movements gentle. The beast, in turn, seemed to respond to their presence with a surprising docility, its rumbling growls transforming into low, contented sounds. Zara's mandibles clicked in confusion as she tried to reconcile this observation with her previous understanding of the beast's nature. How could such a fearsome creature display such tenderness? Curiosity piqued, Zara began to immerse herself in the study of human-animal interactions, her researchers providing her with in-depth analyses and insights. She learned about the human's deep-rooted psychological and emotional attachment to certain types of animals, and how these pets could serve as both companions and sources of comfort. As Zara's understanding grew, so too did her fascination. She found herself drawn to the way the humans cared for the beast, the gentle touches and the playful interactions that seemed to defy the creature's outward appearance. One day, as Zara watched the humans engage in what they called playtime with the beast, she felt a strange stirring within her. The creature, which she had once regarded as a mere instrument of destruction, now appeared to be a source of joy and wonder for the humans. Tentatively, Zara approached the group, her movements slow and deliberate. The humans paused, their expressions a mix of caution and curiosity, but Zara raised her hand in a gesture of peace. I wish to understand," she said, her voice softer than usual. "What is it about the beast that brings you such joy?" The humans exchanged glances, their faces breaking into warm smiles. One of them, a young female, stepped forward, her hand resting gently on the beast's snout. "It's hard to explain," she said, her voice tinged with a hint of wonder. "But when we're with him, it's like all our worries fade away. He's family to us." Zura's tentacles twitched, and she felt a strange pang in her chest. Family. The word resonated with her, a concept she had previously dismissed as irrelevant to her mission. As she observed the humans and the beast interacting, Zyra began to see the creature in a new light. The raw power and ferocity she had once feared now seemed to be tempered by a surprising gentleness, a capacity for affection that she had never imagined possible. Slowly, Zyra's perception of the beast began to shift, and with it her own biases and preconceptions. She found herself drawn to the humans' joy, their unwavering bond with the creature, and the sense of belonging that seemed to radiate from their interactions. In that moment, Zyra realized that her mission, her single-minded focus on subjugating the humans and their world, had blinded her to the true value of diversity and understanding. The humans, with their unique perspectives and emotional attachments, had something to teach her, something that could potentially enrich the Galactic Alliance and its future endeavors. With a newfound sense of purpose, Zyra turned to her researchers, her voice brimming with determination. "Continue your studies," she said, her tentacles twitching with a renewed energy. "I must understand this friendship between the humans and the beast if we are to forge a lasting alliance." As the beast watched the humans with a curious tilt of its head, Zyra felt a glimmer of hope take root within her. Perhaps in the end, their differences could be a strength rather than a weakness. As Zyra's understanding of the humans and their bond with the beast deepened, she found herself contemplating the future of the Galactic Alliance's relationship with this primitive civilization. The insights she had gained through her team's research and her own personal observations had profoundly challenged her preconceptions and biases. Gone were the days when she had seen the humans as mere obstacles to be conquered or subjugated. Now, she recognized their unique perspectives and emotional attachments as a potential source of strength, a wellspring of diversity that could enrich the Galactic Alliance's cultural and technological landscape. With a renewed sense of purpose, Zyra gathered her top advisors and laid out her proposal for a formal alliance between the Galactic Alliance and the humans. "Earthlings," she began, her voice carrying a newfound sense of respect and diplomacy. "I have spent countless hours studying your people, your customs, and your unique relationship with the beast, and I have come to the realization that our differences are not a weakness, but rather a strength that we can harness for the betterment of both our civilizations." The humans, who had once regarded Zyra with a mixture of caution and confusion, now leaned forward, their expressions reflecting a cautious optimism. "What are you proposing?" one of them asked, their tone laced with a hint of skepticism. Zyra's tentacles twitched with a rare display of excitement as she outlined her vision. "I propose that we forge a formal alliance between the Galactic Alliance and your people," she said, her voice brimming with conviction. "Together, we can combine our technological prowess with your unique perspectives and emotional attachments, creating a partnership that will push the boundaries of what is possible." The humans exchanged glances, their brows furrowed in deep contemplation. Zyra could sense their hesitation, their past experiences with the Galactic Alliance no doubt weighing heavily on their minds. But then, one of the humans stepped forward, a warm smile spreading across their face. "You know, Zyra," they said, the alien name rolling off their tongue with a newfound familiarity. "We've been talking about this, and we think we're ready to give this alliance a try." Zyra's mandibles clicked in surprise, and she felt a surge of hope swell within her. You do?" she asked, her voice laced with a rare display of vulnerability. The human nodded, their expression reflecting a newfound sense of trust. "Yes," they said, their voice firm. "We've come to see the beast as more than just a pet or a tool of destruction. It's a part of our family, and we're willing to work with you to ensure its safety and well-being." Zyra's tentacles twitched with a mixture of relief and excitement. This was a pivotal moment. a turning point that could shape the future of the Galactic Alliance's relationship with the humans. "Then it is settled," she said, her voice tinged with a hint of triumph. "We will forge a new alliance, one that celebrates our differences and harnesses the unique strengths of our civilizations." As the humans and the representatives of the Galactic Alliance gathered to discuss the details of their partnership, Zyra found herself drawn to the beast, its massive frame, now a symbol of the newfound friendship between the two worlds. With a tentative hand, she reached out, gently running her fingers along the creature's scaly hide. To her surprise, the beast let out a low, contented rumble, its eyes meeting hers with a surprisingly gentle gaze. In that moment, Zyra knew that her mission had been transformed, her perspective forever changed. The beast was no longer a mere instrument of destruction, but rather a bridge between two vastly different civilizations, a testament to the power of understanding and the value of embracing diversity. As the celebration of the new alliance unfolded around her, Zyra felt a sense of pride and purpose swell within her. The future was uncertain, but she knew that with the humans by their side, the Galactic Alliance's influence and reach would only continue to grow, enriched by the unique perspectives and emotional attachments that this primitive world had to offer.